I'm Annette Rose. Hi, welcome to Annette Rose TV. We are here today for episode 6 of my series, Taking Charge of Your Financial Future for Women. Alright, so thanks for joining me. I hope you've been watching all of my other videos, and just a little reminder that you can head on over to the blog if the video is not your thing, if you don't like watching me, or in fact listening to me. You can head over to rosebeauty.com.au and check out the blog. Alright, well today we are on to the topic of financial advisors, and do you need one? So obviously a topic that we've referred to a few times throughout the series. It is something that comes up quite regularly when I'm talking to people about getting on top of their finances. And so this will be a pretty snappy little video. And obviously the workbook will be uploaded after the video so that you can just work your way through the questions so that you've got access to the links and the tools that I'm actually going to talk about today. And yeah, all good. All right, so what is a financial advisor? I have been doing a little bit of Googling, and funnily enough, our old friend, the ASIC, now I'm trying to remember, is it the Money Smart or the Smart Money website? I can't remember. Oh, it's the Money Smart website. Okay, so the ASIC Money Smart website has given us a very nice definition, which I am going to read out for you. So, in Australia, probably in other countries too, but bear in mind I am located in Australia, so this is all relevant to that country. In Australia, a financial planner, also known as a financial advisor, is a person or authorised representative of an organisation licensed by ASIC to provide advice on some or all of certain areas of your finances. And those areas specifically are investing, superannuation, retirement planning, estate planning, risk management, insurance, and taxation. Okay, so these guys are pretty smart guys. They have really intensive training to make sure that they can actually provide you with advice. They have to be licensed with ASIC, so it is really important to remember that you should be making sure that any financial advisors that you talk to are indeed registered with ASIC. But we will come back to that. All right, so the next question to answer is, how can financial advice actually help you? And it is I guess it's a highly personal question. You don't actually need to get advice in all circumstances. I think, as we've covered in some of our other episodes, there are a lot of things that you can actually work out yourself using, I guess, my videos, my workbooks, and using other resources that are available on the web. However, I would say that financial advice can actually make a really big difference in particular circumstances. It can give you confidence so that you know that your financial goals are actually achievable, and they can actually help you to put the right strategies in place or to help you to set up realistic goals over time to actually achieve what you want to achieve financially. So financial advisors effectively can make things easier for you and help you to actually achieve your financial goals. That's how a financial advisor can help you. Okay, so gosh, this is dry, isn't it? I feel like I should do a little bit of dancing or something just to liven things up. But let's move on. All right, so do I really need it? This is the big question you're probably, actually, this might in fact be the reason you've continued watching. So do you really need financial advice? So again, I've been having a little scratch around on the ASIC Money Smart website, and one of the things that they talk about is that it can be really helpful to get financial advice if you are going through a major life change. So the types of life changes that we might be talking about could be that you're going into retirement soon, could be that you're about to start a family, could be that you're thinking about buying a house, could be that you have been made redundant and come into a lump sum of money, if you're super lucky. Could be that you've come into an inheritance and you're not sure what to do with that. So that's one of those circumstances where you may find it very useful to seek out some financial advice. The second thing is when it comes to long-term goal planning. So when you are looking at trying to set yourself up really well for retirement, I do have another video and another blog and a workbook on the subject of the superannuation, which in Australia is your pension or your retirement fund. So if you are looking to make sure that you, throughout your life and particularly your working life, that you are doing the right things to make sure that you have a really good, healthy super savings fund, so that at the point that you come to retire, you have got a really good nest egg there that can be invested and actually provide you a very comfortable lifestyle for a long time. That is another really, really good reason that you might want to start working with a financial advisor. These guys actually have strategies to effectively to invest your money more or less aggressively in different levels of risk at different times in your life, to make sure that you can actually maximize the amount of money that's being paid into your super savings. So that's another really good reason to do that. Look, and I guess for women, which is one of the key reasons we're here, it is super, 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 no pun intended on the super important that as early as you can, you actually have a super savings and retirement savings strategy. So there are a lot of reasons why women end up retiring in poverty. It's a really big issue, certainly for women in Australia, where we have, it's a horrifying statistic, so around 40% of older women in Australia are actually living in poverty because they didn't start early enough, they didn't understand this planning, and I actually really think a financial advisor can help you get on top of that, and again to maximise the savings that you actually do have. Okay, all right, so number 3 is whether you're considering actually purchasing some personal insurance products. So again, on a different blog, we actually talked about personal insurance. We talked about how life insurance is a little bit easier to sort out. So the maths involved in that is quite basic. But when it does come to the more complex types of personal insurance, like your critical illness, your income protection, and those types of insurance, a financial advisor is going to be very, very helpful for you to actually navigate through the minefield that is working out what insurance you actually need, what is the best product for you, and how can you actually make sure that it pays out in the event that you need it, because that is not as straightforward as it probably should be. On a final note, there are those of us in life that do not like to face up to facts. We prefer to do an ostrich and bury our head in the sand. And look, for some people, these issues are just, they're complex. Some people's brains just don't work in this way, and I would say my husband is probably one of those. So the minute I start talking about finances, you can actually see him glazing over. And to him, it's like I'm speaking a completely different language. So again, if you are somebody that needs a bit of help staying on track, you need somebody to help you with the strategy, it actually just bores you to tears, but you know you should do it, then I would say that looking into seeking the services of a financial advisor would be a very good idea for you. All right, so once you've worked out whether you think you actually need a financial advisor, the next step is to actually choose a financial advisor. And in terms of the hints and tips I have around this, it is very straightforward. So I always think that a recommendation is the very best thing that you can have. So I would be asking friends, I would be asking family, perhaps even work colleagues if they have any financial advisors that they know that perhaps they've used that they could recommend for you. If they don't, you can ring your super fund. So your super fund might have some clues for you. If you have an accountant, you could ring your accountant, and if you have a lawyer. So often accountants and or lawyers do work with financial advisors, particularly when there's more complex issues in areas of taxation and setting up things like retirement funds and trusts. So you can actually always ask those professionals as well. All right, once you have chosen one, assuming that you live in Australia, you do actually need to go and check that they are licensed to provide you with the type of advice that you are looking for. So in remembering the 4 key areas that we talked about, so I'll just tell you what they were again. So we've got investing, we've got superannuation and retirement planning, and estate planning kind of falls into that as well. Risk management, insurance and taxation. Those are the areas that the financial advisors can be licensed to actually give you advice about. So jump onto the ASIC website. If you head back over to the blog at rosebeauty.com.au, I've actually got the links in there for you to the right part of the website, so you can actually go straight there, and you can look up your financial advisor that you've chosen and make sure that they are actually registered with ASIC. That's quite important. You don't want to be dealing with anybody who is not licensed to provide you with advice. All right. So once you've got through those 2 hurdles, you've chosen one, you've checked that they're actually registered to give you advice. The next piece is actually just doing a little bit of investigation by the telephone into how much they're actually going to charge you and what their structure is. So ideally, you are looking for somebody who isn't going to charge you for the first appointment. You want to deal with somebody who's actually going to be really upfront with you. So I would just be making a phone call and getting really, really clear with them about what they charge for, what they don't charge for, when you're expected to pay that and how you're expected to pay that. And as I say, I would be doing that as a piece of telephone research just to help you narrow down who you actually want to book an appointment with. All right. The other thing to note is that when you go in for that first appointment, any decent financial advisor is actually going to be really upfront with you. They're going to tell you the structure of how they want to work with you and what the charges will be. When they talk to you about charges, don't forget that, like anything else, you can actually negotiate your fees. So definitely don't be thinking that you just have to sit there and take the first price that's given to you. It is a good idea to try and see if you can negotiate the fees down a little. And that means more money in your pocket, ultimately. All right, so again, the ASIC website does have lots and lots and lots of very, very detailed information about the types of fees and charges that you can expect when you're seeking financial advice, and the link to that is actually over on the blog. All right, so once you've gotten through all of that, you are prepping for your first appointment with your financial advisor. The next question is probably, how do I actually work with a financial advisor? I know that when I was younger, my temptation was to try and hide things from them, and it was very confronting, the first appointment that we actually had, and they were saying, well, how many loans do you have? What assets do you have? And I think at the time I probably had more loans than I did assets. Credit cards. The thing with a financial advisor is they can only work with you if you are completely honest with them. When I say they can only work with you, look, of course they can work with you, but it's going to be much, much better, and you're going to get much better results if you are open and honest with them about your financial situation, however ugly it might be. Okay, so that's the one major tip that I will give you when you're actually coming to work with your financial advisor, is to be brutally honest about things. Get everything on the table, and they're going to make recommendations, and you have to be honest about what you can and can't afford. And this is really important. If you can't afford a particular type of insurance, or perhaps you are feeling uncomfortable about how much you can actually be saving to put into super savings, whatever those strategies are that they're coming up with, you need to be honest with them, and they will work with you to get you to a position where you're actually feeling comfortable building that into your monthly budgeting and saving plans, which we covered obviously last week on episode 5. Alrighty, so I hope that little video and the blog and the workbook are helpful in assisting you to determine whether you need a financial advisor, how to choose one, and what to do once you have actually chosen one. So there's lots of benefits to having a financial advisor. So if you can afford it, I would definitely be saying to you, at least go for the first appointment, get an understanding of what it is that you might need to be doing in this space, and you can take it from there. If you would like to ask me who I use, if you're based in Sydney, I have got a couple of contacts of fabulous financial advisors in the Sydney area. So more than welcome to pop over to rosebeauty.com.au, hit the get in touch, and I can come back to you with those details if that's something that you need. All right, thank you so much for watching. That's the end of this little video on Do I Need a Financial Advisor? I will see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, share my video, head over to the blog, comment, say nice things. Hopefully you've got nice things to say. And I will see you next time on Annette Rose TV. See you later.